Way back in March 2013, I lost more than 5 kilos of weight in 2 to 3 weeks by eating only fat. I didn't step inside a gym for a single day of those 3 weeks, but I shredded fat. Disclaimer: this is not about the conventional ketogenic diet. What I'm going to tell you sounds extremely counterintuitive, but bear with me. A fat fast doesn't mean if you're fat, you should fast, although you probably should get on some weight management plan. During a fat fast, you eat only fat. No protein, no carbohydrates, only fat. The science behind it is that since fat is so satiating, it's hard to overeat. I did my research on fat fasting from multiple online resources. You should too before you decide to embark on one. And you should do it under medical supervision and for a short duration. This wasn't an excuse to eat ice cream and other junk. I knew that. I knew it wouldn't be easy eating mostly only fat, so I didn't plan a fast or set a date or time for it. It just happened and I rolled with it. I try to stick to relatively clean, natural sources of fat like coconut oil, ghee, butter, cream, and animal fat. And if you're eating healthy, you should already be working with these as your fats of choice, rather than vegetable oils and other processed, refined fats. I started around the 3rd or 4th of March 2013 and I broke my fast on the 19th of March. I spent a little over 2 weeks eating only fat and I shredded fat. Contrary to popular belief, you are not what you eat. Fat does not make you fat. This was during my exams in law school. I didn't mentally prepare for a fat fast, but what happened was I'd hit a plateau and my weight was hovering at around 86 to 87 kilograms. So I went shopping with my parents who were visiting and stocked up. Here's what I picked up: 2 cans of whipped cream, if you can find the unsweetened kind, that's the best, coconut oil, butter, from a farm, not the pasteurized brand name one, dark chocolate, at least 72% cocoa. This isn't on a typical fast, but I was having trace amounts of it anyway. Eggs, bacon, black coffee. That was more or less it. So, for the first week or so, this is what I'd do. Wake up, drink black coffee. I used to make fresh French press coffee back then. Those were the days. I'd study. If I get incredibly hungry, I'd take some whipped cream and eat it, straight from the can to my mouth. I'd cycle eating whipped cream, butter, coconut oil, and black coffee with an occasional bite of dark chocolate. I never went full indulge because that would push me well over my permissible intake of carbohydrates. Fat makes you feel full. Fat keeps you satisfied. So, when you do a fat fast, you're technically tricking your brain into feeling full and continue to burn calories at a steady rate while you've actually eaten very little. If you want to do this yourself, you could even pick just one fat you really like, perhaps butter, coconut oil, or whipped cream, and eat just that through the day. As a result, I felt full often, but I had actually eaten little to nothing that required heavy digestion or went beyond 1000 to 1200 calories a day. Here's the chain of what happens. You eat fat, you feel satisfied, your body releases the hormones that indicate fullness, your body thinks you're well fed enough to stay in a calorie burning state, you haven't had any sugar either, which means you'll keep burning fat. You stay in ketosis, you lose weight. I wasn't working out much, obviously, during this period. I couldn't afford to expend any more energy than I needed to, because I was already eating a much lower calorie intake. I'd do maybe 20 push-ups a day, once in 3 days. I found it very tough to overeat fat. I'd been eating healthy regularly before doing this, so I'd end up feeling too full way before I could overeat fat. The black coffee also helped with suppressing my appetite and keeping me on my fast. I was hoping for 2 things with the push-ups. 1, that I'd try to stimulate my muscles a little bit, and 2, to ensure that I didn't lose too much muscle during my fast. I didn't really think about it too much. I slept when I was sleepy, I drank coffee, whipped cream and coconut oil when I was hungry, and I worked out when I thought I could. I listened to my body and I went with the flow. So, I hadn't checked my weight at the end of the first week. As the days continued, I was feeling quite fine. But of course, I'd feel occasional hunger. I'd experience pangs of hunger sometimes, but ice cold water and either some dark chocolate, Remember, dark chocolate is not supposed to be on a traditional fat fast. This was just me. And either some dark chocolate or whipped cream, or even 2 eggs at most, and I'd be good to go for a few hours more. Throwing in an iced espresso or two didn't hurt either. So, by cycling my food in the same pattern, I continued this eating pattern. Yes, children, the secret to sticking to a healthy eating pattern is to pick 3 to 5 simple and healthy foods that you like and cycling them. So my law school exams continued, and I continued eating this way as the weeks went on. I never felt overwhelming hunger till perhaps 18th of March, a day before one of my last exams. By this point, people are starting to ask me, with quite some concern, whether I was unwell because I lost so much weight in such a short span of time. I remember my friends asking me if I had a serious disease. The C word came up a couple of times. On 19th March, I broke my fast, and I'll be honest, I indulged. After my exam, I had bread patties from near my college. That first bite of deep fried goodness blew me away. I was overwhelmed. My brain couldn't process the explosion of flavors. It tasted so good. I finished my food, and I don't remember what else I ate that day, or whether I went overboard indulging in good food. Of course I did. But I'd broken my unplanned but fairly well executed fat fast. My weight was hovering between 80 and 81 kilos at the end of my fast. So, what did I learn from this? First, I'd hit a plateau with my weight loss and I was struggling to lose more. A fat fast was a great way to demolish that plateau and bulldoze my way through it. Second, a fat fast is absolutely not a state I would stay in for prolonged periods of time. Because while losing fat, I also lost a little muscle. I feel I'd lose too much muscle along with fat if I continued for extended periods. Third, a fat fast really helped me understand my hunger better and get in touch with my body and develop a much better love and understanding for food. Fourth, fat is really satisfying. I never understood the importance of fat completely till I realized I had just survived a near 2-week period eating primarily fat. Fifth, water is life. My water intake and yours, if you ever decide to do this, would go up. I drank a lot of water, but never forced myself to drink water to feel full. That's just unwise, and if you do it, it could lead to water poisoning. Another story on this later, I promise. So, here are my takeaways. This fat fast worked for me for a period of 2 weeks, purely for the intent of weight loss. It worked brilliantly. It worked because I was eating no sugar, but also because I was eating very few calories, way below my daily requirement, which meant I was using a lot of my own fat stores to continue functioning. However, this isn't advisable for longer than a certain point because your body downregulates the amount of calories it needs for weight loss if you eat a diet that's low enough on the calories for a long period of time. This would work best if you've been eating a diet that's devoid of sugars and rich in healthy fat and protein for long enough before you embark on a fat fast, and if you're trying to break a weight loss plateau.